spawns at the first rotation. And this can be kind of a deal breaker as well in the first few minutes.
Prepare to fight.
So it remains to be seen how the spawns are going to work out for Tony and Ince.
Round begins in.
And just to see if it's possible for Tony, I would even start on him.
Fight.
And he gets the spawn where it should be doable, but Ince is
Ince
fast
goes
enough,
right away
yeah.
for his item, and he
So,
might actually get both items if he recognizes this. Now he opts to protect the weapons, which I believe is a decent decision. Oh, goes up the jump pad, might get caught here, didn't.
He didn't
And
catch
he
the
will get
glimpse.
himself the rocket launcher.
Now both players should have the major weaponry, and we see a little bit of an engagement at the heavy stairs, but not all too much. And because of the delay of the items,
Trade.
yeah, no, it's not really a trade. The Slash could be taking both, but he takes the long way around. Nice rocket. It was just before the pickup, so it basically only removed some armor for Ince. It's gonna be interesting as we see a fight at the rear. Beautiful direct rocket from Tony, and he goes out straight away to take another position and hit him from a different angle. Definitely running circles around the Portuguese player and finishes him off with a rocket. 1 minute in the game, 1-0. Tony, good play with the Slash so far.
Yeah, he almost got caught in that corner. That's not a very good place to be. Oh, fantastic rockets from Tony.
And he smells blood. He wants him after spawn before taking the mega health. But he misses those rails, which would have opened him up another opportunity for a kill. Now it goes quiet all of a sudden. Stack of Tonys is just huge, outstacking his opponent by more than 100 at the moment. The rails miss though, and they both go back to their safe position, but good defensive rockets from Ince. And he has the position over the mega health. Tony and the choke point can't afford to push in, and even takes more damage from Ince's rockets. That should be able to set him up for the heavy armor as well. And he beats Tony to it. Good job by Ince, taking control over the map.
Yeah, this could be a good turning point for Ince trying to make himself a comeback.
Stopwatch.
Ince trying to deal some damage on the choke point, but gets damage himself. Oh, very good nails from Ince. A little bit early on the item, but that's okay because Tony doesn't have much wiggle room.
Exactly, just blocked off the pathway of Tony, and despite Tony hitting a rail, Ince's armor was enough to survive one more shot, which enabled him to spam the stairs and just lock Tony out of the spot basically. The question is now, how will he be able to catch the much faster Slash? Good rocket from Tony just off the bounce pad. Reduces the stack of Ince a little bit further.
Oh, Tony, unlucky, missing all of the shots, and now Tony's railable. Needs to escape, catches that bubble, and that will be a lifesaver, making him at least being able to take a rail angle for managing to escape. Ince might have caught Tony here in the corner, misses the rail. Tony should be in position to catch that heavy. He's not, and the rocket from Ince makes it a one frag game.
Yeah, despite Tony landing some good rockets himself, his stack was so much lower that he had no chance, because the damage traded was basically even. And this is Ince catching up. One frag game, and all the stack he needs. Gets a little bit of that removed by a good rail from Tony. But he sets up for the heavy early, so he knows from what direction his enemy's going to... And he's AFK. Okay.
I think he wanted to leave Tony get the item, but alright, some good sportsmanship from Tony.
Yeah. Always nice to see.
Apparently he lagged out, don't know what that was. And Tony gets himself the Mega, and control right now, I'd say, is shared. Although Tony's in a much better position to get the item.
despite being in a good position to get some damage before the pickups and maybe brute forcing his way into it, Inns missed the railguns, which gave Tony 2 free pickups in a row.
5-minute warning.
And now his stack is just, yeah, as huge as it can be as a slash. Like decent damage from both of the rockets, but you don't really want to do damage trades if you're Inns right now. But hitting a slash is a little harder than hitting a visor as well. Good railgun, but the position was key there. Tony gets the item again.
Good job by Inns though of removing the little bit of that stack, and he catches him with a plasma, but that was not enough, and Inns is licking his wounds at the moment.
Yeah, he basically has to fall back and get all the small pickups without taking any damage, and so far he's doing a quite decent job with that. But by picking up the small items and not being able to do damage on the big ones, Tony's stack will never shrink, basically. Good opening there. The railgun hits, but now he needs to be careful for the trail, and it gets knocked up, and the rockets from Tony finish off the visor. 2-frag game once more.
Yeah, Inns getting trapped in the plasma trail, not really being able to escape.
This point is going to be, at this point it's going to be very hard because both of the players have been super defensive, and Tony, especially Tony, has been doing a great job in using his speed to never be in a position where Inns can damage him if he does not want to be in. So Inns really needs to get some cheeky reads of his opponent to be able to cut down the lead and mount a comeback here, especially with a slash that is moving around the map as quick as Tony is.
Oh, Tony closing off the choke point where Inns could have challenged, but Inns sending himself up way early for the heavy.
Yeah, and he decides to bail out just as Tony arrives in the closer proximity of that. Another item, and no damage from Inns as well. With a stack like this, Inns basically can never be comfortable in a fight when he has to force the issue, so not being able to take any damage on his opponent or on the pickups
Inns
might
with a
be
decent
actually
damage,
losing
though.
him the game. Yeah, that was decent, definitely. The armor overstack is removed at least.
Tony will get it back if Inns does nothing here. Oh, Inns missing the rail.
Ooh, cheeky nail jump. Creates it. Yeah, not a one-side angle, a one-way angle, but basically, and we see a third kill, and at
Inns
this,
takes the gamble.
and at this point, there's not much Inns can do. He's lacking the weaponry at the moment. He's lacking the stack. Oh, with some self-damage from Tony, and now the stacks are not too different anymore. He drops down in the rails, but the rocket just saves him with 7 HP left. 4 frag
Oh,
lead.
and Inns trying to challenge, but the pillars at the heavy, saving Tony's life for now. And with this next bubble, Tony is actually in a decent spot as far as stack goes, and certainly take himself a fight. But Inns is looking pretty decent himself. But only has 1 minute and 10 seconds to get 4 frags.
Plasma was rather to do damage here if Inns chase than to get away. And it did huge damage, and Inns almost died despite picking up the heavy, but now the kills coming in for Inns are a little too less and too late, I fear. As Tony gets the frag off the spawn once more and makes it a 4 frag game with 45 seconds to go. I really doubt that will happen. A comeback here.
Yeah, Tony playing a very critical, very control-heavy game, and Inns not really able to challenge for most of the time.
And in the end, he knew where his opponent was, but he didn't use that knowledge to cut down the stack lead. without taking damage himself, and in the end it was too late and he had to take bad fights.
Open
And
wide and take
the
your
facts that are
medicine.
happening now are just just for
Yeah,
the
victory
role
lap
play.
for them.
Yeah,
You win.
good job. First maps in the books, and Tony won that. I gotta admit,
Tony ended up 1-0, and we can see now the difference in the weapon usage. In's only 18% rail. That's it's just not good enough in a large map,
yeah, especially if you're getting out pickup.
especially if you're out of control. Yeah.
Yeah. The rail out of control is one of your best friends because you can find angles that the enemy can't return the damage on you. And this is always a good opportunity to cut down the stack difference.
Even if you trade damage and you're out of control, you can get the smaller pickups and equalize the stacks a little bit.
Yeah, but Tony just used the quickness of Slash. Pretty good. There were also a lot of instances that after a fight he just went to the lights first before going to the heavy. So there was not much left on the map after some fights for Inns.
It's absolutely true.
So I think the quickness of Slash really brought that map home.
Yeah, I think so as well. The information wasn't good enough to counter the speed. And In's using that information more to land his guaranteed shots than to actually get information he didn't have.
Yeah, I think that's true. Because of that, he failed to create some opportunities for him to deal damage that can't be responded by Tony, and so Tony could basically just was always in a better position, always had the better stack because of all the pickups he got. And when he didn't have the control, he managed to create angles where he would be dealing damage without being able to get hit himself. So he could get over the control again. It was a very, very controlled and composed play from Tony.
Yeah, on this map I think the champions-wise it's a more even match. Because, Nyx does not have the insane speed of Slash, while Ranger can use the orb to replace himself pretty fast.
That's absolutely true.
So Nyx, Tony playing in Nyx, he will be a bit more defensive on this one than he was with Slash on the last match we saw. I'm curious. Have fun,
Thank you,
boys and
Rob,
girls.
for your insights as well.
Thanks. So we up onto map number 2. We got Ranger and Nyx. It's gonna be an interesting matchup.
Both have decent mobility on this map. And while they are not the fastest around corners, they can use their mobility to close gaps on the middle and from bridge to rail quite easy.
Scum.
Prepare to fight.
Yeah, well, Ings with more stack on warm-ups.
Round begins in 3, 2, 1.
Fight.
Fight.
Alright, and Tony starts with the Mega Spawn, and Ings going straight for the heavy. Using that orb to get himself the rail and the item right away. And Tony delaying the item massively here. Oh, Ings finding that angle. Gets into the rocket himself, so the stack's not equal, but not really favoring any player too much. Ings with a very good rail. And Ins dominating a little bit early on with some very, very nice rails, and gets himself a heavy for his troubles. And still not allowing Tony to get his hands on the railgun. Oh, into the risky orb! Oh, using the rail jump to avoid that angle. Both players not really on the best of health.
First
And
blood
Tony somehow
taken.
pulls out the rabbit out of his hat and gets the first frag. But it's not very good,
need
it's
to
only on
rest
10
up.
stack.
Tide.
And in sitting 2 rails in a row equalizes the game and potentially might even get himself a control train here if he plays this one, plays his cards right. So Ian's now with both items and looking really good right now as he picks up his rocket launcher. Delaying, being a little bit early on the heavy a little bit, and Tony waiting, biding his time, not wanting to force the issue, knowing he has plenty of time to
Stopwatch.
get back into control once he gets himself some damage before In's doing his lap again through the rocket launcher area. And looking good as far as stack is concerned. These are Zins, and Tony will be challenging for this heavy. Misses his rail again, and that might spell trouble for Tony, who challenges hard for the mega.
Stopwatch.
In's using his orb to great effect, and Tony getting hit with that direct must try to escape now. His ability's up, so in the pinch he might be able to use it. In's faking the jump pad, going for the heavy, not allowing Tony to get a glimpse of control here so far. And we are seeing a bit of a reverse of what was last map. In's with the insane control through 3 minutes, and Tony looking on the outside. Now Ian's making his way to the heavy area.
Impressive.
Tony might be in trouble. Both players using their abilities, and Ian's quick, not activating his orb, getting himself the heavy, and Tony managing to restack in the nick of time, and Ian's continuing to perpetuate his control. It's really quite difficult for Tony to get back at the space. There's always an opening.
Yeah, I think Tony is doing great Nick's play. He's escaping every fight. He's out of control, so he really needs to take it back to have any stack enough to get out of top of any fight.
Yeah, absolutely agree. In's trying to close in, but failed. Gets himself his mega, and trying to find his opponent, knowing that the time is now to capitalize on the control.
Stopwatch.
Oh, and Tony equalizing those stacks. This can be a major opportunity for him as he goes straight into the mega. And he hits another rail, and all of a sudden we see a shift in control. Both players with some good weapon usage.
Oh,
But
all the armor is gone from Inns.
the armor. Oh, he still has this one. But Tony should get himself the heavy. Oh, and Inns goes for the rocket and misses. So now Tony gets in control, and oh, Inns using the
Impressive.
trying to pull out an air orb, misses it, but is in position to get this heavy, to get this mega, and even hits a rocket for a good measure.
Yeah, it almost turned around. Tony was really defensive for the last 3 minutes,
Watch.
but somehow he turned it around, but could not bank on it, and now Inns is just in the same stronghold. He's scaring Tony away from the items. But yeah,
Stopwatch.
we still have 4.5 minutes. One of these players still need a frag to get this map on their name.
Yeah, nothing is guaranteed at this moment. Both players being extremely calculated. Inns focused on not giving any control away, and Tony focused on not giving any frags away.
Oh, but he's using his invis. Oh, and he
What
gets
a
it.
play! What a play! Getting his invis damage and then with a nice rocket fragging Inns, and now he can establish his own control, but I don't think he'll get to yet in time. And now Inns is on the back foot, must start pressuring. And that might be a bit of a trouble, but they are to meet. No, Inns. Inns not really wanting to meet up, and Tony using that invis to good measure, but doesn't have any rails. So that can be problematic. Tony doing a good job again of timing the light armors and not really establishing his foothold on the control at the moment, but is doing a great job of escaping, and Tony doesn't have much to answer Inns with at the moment.
Yeah, so yeah, Inns just didn't want to lose his life, so he was not aggressive, but in the end Tony got a frag, and now they're still playing the same game. But Inns is at the back foot right now because yeah, Tony can just farm those hourglasses, and he showed in the middle part of this match that he is able to escape many fights. So I think this is a tough job for Inns to get back in this one.
Yeah, only 2.5 minutes, which is not that long when they're playing against the Knicks.
Netmaster.
Oh, that's a beautiful rail from Tony, keeping Inns on the back foot, even though Inns just got himself the heavy, and he hits the first rail, but so does Inns, and Inns with a little bit more stack, but not too much, and Tony having to be really careful not to give any frags away. Inns missing his rail, and closing in. Tony will be using the invis to get away, and well, at least Inns gets his item pretty much uncontested at this point, but again, Tony only 20 seconds away from getting his ability back. Oh, but Inns catches him without the ability. This might be a big deal. And Inns gets Tony low. But he can't afford himself to get into this fight, and now Tony has his invis back.
Yeah, he had to prioritize the mega health, because yeah, if he doesn't take it, then Tony might. Oh, but this time around, no, Invis is back and Tony can use it to escape this one. Again, Tony is left really low, but Inns goes for the item, and Tony can just go to the other half of the map to add the poverty items to his name. But it's enough to survive those fights and bank on the hourglasses who are left on the map. And he is, yeah, his fist. It's back.
Inns doesn't really have the stack to be aggressive, but he's gonna start being aggressive sometime soon, because there's not a lot of time, only 30 seconds, and Tony escaping again. And Inns doesn't know where his opponent is. Tony even has the Ghost Walk ready at any moment. Oh, Inns spots him, catches the hourglasses. But Tony will be able to escape, and I think this might be GG. Even if Inns catches Tony, Tony will just invis and get out of the way. Inns almost catching him, but Tony really good at playing the escape game, and well, Tony moves on.